Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of our Back of the Shelf YouTube podcast. You're looking at me, Jerry, like it's not episode 3. Well, it's officially episode 3. We did do a bonus episode in the middle, didn't we?
Okay.
Last week, we had 2 episodes for you lucky people. So, welcome to episode 3. This is Back of the Shelf, a podcast that, how do you put it, Jerry, deliberates the underrated and underappreciated games on our shelves.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I don't usually listen. I just wait for you to buzz us in. Anyway, this week I'm joined as ever by my fellow co-host, Ben. Ben, say good day, Ben.
Good day, Ben.
That's for our Australian listeners, as always. And Jerry, say howdy, y'all.
Howdy, y'all.
That's for our
Why did I
American
say good
listeners.
day, Ben? Am I saying hello to myself?
Well, I just say good day, Ben, but we always repeat it.
Oh, I see.
Because we're hilarious
there,
people.
I think.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So this week,
I don't know. I actually heard that instruction as say good day, Ben.
Yeah, so I did say it like that.
Sorry.
No, that's absolutely fine. We always do that. This week we are, rather than concentrating on games that we own that we think are underappreciated or underloved, we're actually doing a special games on our games that aren't on our shelves that we wished or hope to one day have on our shelves. In other words, games that we're looking forward to. I could have just put it like that. And I'm calling this episode rather cleverly Lack of the Shelf, because we're lacking these games from our shelves.
Oh, it rhymes with back.
So, sorry for if our listeners who don't watch us on YouTube often will hear silence where nothing's happening. Things are happening; they're just happening visually.
It's usually a thumbs up.
Visually, yeah, it's either a thumbs up or we're just thinking. But on YouTube, you can see us doing that. Anyway, So I would say let's jump in, but first we have to play a game. And this week I've come up with a little game, and I've also made a little title card for it. And this week's game is called I believe I've called it the Board Game Triathlon. I've actually forgotten what I called it, even though I worked on this banner for quite some time. For everyone that is watching, I apologise in advance. Prepare to be horrified. Ba 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 ba. It's the Board Game Triathlon.
That is
sensational.
Horrifying. It's ungodly. Oh,
I know. Yes.
Haunting.
Yeah. I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, so this game. I'm not going to bother with intros because, quite frankly, I worked so hard on that title card. I put everything else together at the last minute. So what I'm going to do then is a board game triathlon, which is going to consist of 3 rounds. And over those 3 rounds, you're going to be playing 3 different games. And the first game I'm going to play with you guys is a little game of, I guess you'd call it alphabet board games. And all you're trying to do, and I'm sure you've played this game before, other things, I'm going to say the name of a board game to get you guys started. And you have to name a board game with the last letter of that board game that I've just named. So if I was to say Baron Park, then the last letter would be K, and you'd say something like, well, you can't say K2, but I guess you could say K2, and then the other person's stumped and they're out. All you have to do is keep it going for as long as you can. You'll have approximately 5 seconds to think of games between, at which point, if you fail, you'll lose a point. And I'm going to do this until it gets boring, and then we'll move on to the next round.
Are you playing as well, Dave?
No, I'm not. Absolutely not playing. I'm just the adjudicator of the whole thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you're ready, I think I'll just get you started.
Wait, who's going to go after you?
Let's go alphabetically. So Ben, you'll be after me. Then it'll go to Jerry. Then you'll go back to Ben, and back and forth like tennis.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
This is
going to test your breadth of knowledge on board game titles.
Okay.
So let's go. Okay, I'm going to start. I'll start. Zularetto.
Orleans.
Sekigahara.
What did you would end?
Oh,
Horror.
ends in an A. Ends in an A. Hey, hey.
Uh,
I'll give you a benefit of the doubt on that one.
no,
Okay, lost. Right. Okay, Jerry, you get 1 point.
Oh my god, this is
1
hard.
point for Gerald. Okay,
This is really
Hey,
difficult.
let's start again.
Okay.
Let's think of a game.
Just think of
Wasteland
a
Express
game.
delivery service. So E for Jerry this time. Nothing.
Nothing. E.
this is really hard.
This is so difficult.
Okay, guys, that's it. Come on. E.
Ethnos. We talked about that.
Ethnos, right. S.
Ethnos.
Samurai.
It's an I. His face.
Incan gold.
Oh.
Diamante. Diamant.
Damn. Is that an E?
T.
T.
T. Tigris and Euphrates.
S.
Sunny day.
Oh.
Sunny day.
Why?
Love that game. Why?
Okay, that's it. I think Ben gets a point. So that's 1 point
Okay.
each. Let's do one more of these before we move on to the next round.
Why do I not know any board games? What's going on? What is this?
I'm looking at your board games behind you to think of ones.
Why
Okay.
is this so hard?
Yeah,
Okay,
if you
Ben.
could end one with a Q,
Yeah.
Joe,
Yeah.
I'd be really happy, please.
Okay. Ben. Chwa, which ends in S. Does it end in S? Yeah, it does. I'm looking
Yes.
at your shelf. Edge.
S again.
Yep.
Sushi Go.
Oh. Okay, that's it. Right, Ben. Ben, you got 2 points. Jerry, you got
Oh
1.
my god, that's brutal.
That was so hard. That's definitely the hardest game we've
I
played.
thought it might be difficult. I didn't realize it would be that
so difficult.
Okay. Next. I was going to play the card, but I'm not going to do the title card in between each one. It's far too. Next heat of the triathlon. We'll say you're onto the swimming part of the triathlon now. I'm going to simply name. I've got 5 different board games, and I'm going to give you the initials of their titles. And all you have to do is name the board game as quickly as possible. Everyone you name, you get a point. There's 5 board games, so 5 points up for grabs here.
Do we just shout out?
Just shout out. Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to start you off. I'll start you off with a nice easy one. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
COB. It's the title of a board game. COB.
Oh, Castles of Burgundy.
Thank you. Okay,
Okay.
Jerry gets 1 point.
Jesus, Murphy. You know it's Sunday evening, right? You know it's
Oh, yeah.
relax time. It's dying.
Wait till we talk about what board games we played this week, which I completely forgot to do at the beginning. Okay, next
Okay.
board game title.
Yeah.
R. I'll give you a clue. It's very popular.
I'll
give you another clue.
With R.
It begins with R, and it's argued: is it a war game or isn't it a war game?
Oh, Root.
Root, correct. Ben's on 3. Jerry's on 2. Okay. B. And I'll give you wait. I'll give you another clue. It's disputed whether certain animals included in this game
Baron Park.
fit. Okay. Baron Park it is. Okay, next one. T and E. I'm not going to give you a clue on this one. Very famous
T
game.
and E. Dominant species.
Tigris and Euphrates.
Oh.
Correct.
Oh, wait. I forgot. I have to play the game.
Hey, last one. This is a game that you guys both love, I believe. I think we've both played. We've talked about it a fair bit
5.
in this podcast. Wait.
Okay. Sorry.
We've talked about it a fair bit in this podcast. Definitely not so. Okay,
Oh.
you ready?
Yep.
B. And it's not Baron Park.
B.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you a clue. 20 minutes.
Blitzkrieg.
Yes, Ben.
Biblioth.
Blitzkrieg. Nope. Sorry. Oh, I forgot to put your. Right, Ben. I think you're on 5 now. Something like that. Right. Okay. We're on the last bit. What's
This is
the
the
last bit?
hardest 5 points I've ever
Oh my
earned.
god!
What's the last bit of a triathlon, guys?
I
Is
don't
it the
know.
bike bit or the running?
It's running, cycling, swimming.
Oh, that was the cycling bit. Sorry. Well, you felt like it. You were cycling uphill. Okay. Last thing, guys, and you're really gonna hate me for this one.
Yeah.
This is simply a game of testing your knowledge of not only the board games themselves, but the people behind the board games. And I've deliberately picked these games that you've just named because I know that you know who designed them. But I'm going to name them. I'm not going to give you the same order because that would be too easy. You just have to simply say who designed these board games. And these are all designers you know, and we've discussed at length. Are you ready?
Sure.
Blitzkrieg.
Paolo
Who designed
Mori.
Blitzkrieg?
Mori.
Ben, well done.
Paolo. Oh, is it over?
Yeah, sorry, way behind. Okay, next one. Castles of Burgundy.
Stefan Feld.
Yeah. God, if you didn't get that, that would be very disappointing.
He's literally. I don't know.
Cole.
James
whatever his name is.
Stegmaier. Oh no.
Paul
Yeah.
Cole?
Cole Worley is the
Oh,
is the
Cole
one. I'll
Worley.
give you a point for that.
You can't give a
Okay.
point for that. That wasn't the name.
I'll give you half a point.
What?
Points from the audience. I'll give you half a point. Okay, next one. Barron Park.
Phil Walker
Harding.
Harding.
Yeah. Ben's just decided to name part of the name. Okay,
Let's
last
give
one.
the initials, Ben.
Last one.
Go.
Tigris and Euphrates.
Ryan Akinitia.
Yeah.
Oh, is that one of his? Oh yeah.
Come on. Oh, board game podcast. Okay, that's it, guys. That is the end of the game.
Thank
And I'm
God.
happy to say that Jerry, you got 5 points, and Ben, you got 7.5 points. So well done, you.
Yeah,
I
well
told
done.
you, season 2, this is my
Yeah.
jam now. I'm serious about this now.
I'd just like to say I would have done very poorly in that game had we been playing it, but because I was in
You
control.
sat down and really thought about that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what? I sat down. I sat
Guess
down
the
for
board game from the letter.
I sat down for 2 minutes
one.
and thought about that. Do you know what I did with all that time though? Right, cutting that short. Jesus.
Orleans. Oh, Orleans.
No, Ben already did Orleans. That was the first one he did.
Oh, shit. I can't think of an O.
Yeah. Well, never mind.
I think that's
over.
the only board game that begins with O. I don't think there are any others.
Shall we do
Go on.
quickly? Because I didn't do this at the start. So I was so
Onitama.
excited to get to my
No.
Yeah, I was so excited to get to my
it.
my brilliant triathlon game that I came up with in the last 2 minutes before going to broadcast that I forgot to ask. Guys, what board games have you been playing this week?
Well, I'll go first because mine's nice and easy. I haven't played any. It's a first week back at school.
Oh, boo.
Just didn't have any time, yeah. Just a difficult week. But getting back on it next week.
Okay,
Sucks.
Jerry, how about you?
2 games did I play this week? I think so.
Okay.
Western Legends. Actually, is it called that? Great Western Legends.
Western Legends. No, you're
Western
thinking the Great
Legends.
Western Trail.
Great Western.
Sorry,
Western
spit
Legends.
everywhere. What's going on? The Great Western Trail, which nearly made me throw up just then. And
Western Legends.
Yeah.
Love that. What else did I play? For the King and Me. That's what I played. That's what we played. Western Legends is so fun, isn't it? I love that game.
Western Legends is phenomenal. Yeah.
Ridiculously fun. And
Yeah, it's so
we
good.
played with a couple of bits of the expansion.
Yes, I got the expansion.
Awesome.
What's it called? Fistful of.
Extras.
It's the one. Fistful of Extras, which is kind of modular because you can pick and choose. And we just added new characters, didn't we? Which was fun. And new items.
New items, new characters. Went
Like
shopping a lot in that
workhorses.
game. That was great.
Yeah,
Really
you were,
enjoyed it.
who were you? You were Calamity Jane.
I was Calamity Jane. I spent the game predominantly shopping in the general store.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I think you went panning for gold
I did.
in order to afford more
Shopping.
stuff in the shop. You had a
I
lot of
went crazy for the shopping.
Yeah,
It was a
I
great
lost a
game.
lot of money on poker.
What did you get up to in that
Is
game?
it gambling? Is it gambling element?
There is. You go to the saloon. and
Oh,
you play
man, this game's
poker.
phenomenal, yeah.
Phenomenal.
David's
It's
finished.
the good thing is as well. It's only about an hour and a half, isn't it? When we play it with free, I suppose. It's not
Yeah.
a long game.
Well, we are very efficient in our
We
board
are very
gaming,
efficient,
though.
yeah. It's quite quick as well, isn't it? You only get 3 actions per turn, and the actions are very quick. Yeah, there's gambling, there's looting and shooting, and being chased by a sheriff out of town, which happened a few times. Yeah, great fun.
So what was the other one you played?
Oh God. We played the V theme of Biblios for the king and me.
So how was that?
So if you've got children in the room, get them out for a moment.
So it was my understanding, because you have hinted at this, it was my understanding that this is a re-skin of Biblios.
In many ways, yes. It's like a re-theme of Biblios. Plus, yeah, I suppose you'd say a reskin then, because the theme doesn't really add anything or take away anything in many ways. It's a reskin, and they've changed it now so you can play up to 5, and they've changed the point system. Whereas in Biblios, if you haven't played Biblios, it's just whoever has the majority of a set takes the die of that color set and then adds those points that are on the die at the end. Whereas now they've added a banner system. They've taken the dice away and they've added banners, which are these little fiddly cardboard banners you put under characters you can change the value of. And if you've got the second most of a set now, you also get some points. So they've made it a bit more family, kid friendly, I guess. The banners are terrible.
And this is what's enraged you.
No, I haven't got to that bit yet. So first of all, the banners are awful. I don't know why they didn't. If they wanted to have a second point system, and we said this at the end of the game, why not just have 2 dice, have a big dice and a small dice? That'll make it easier. You can change both dice. It's very fiddly with the banners, but it's just not. There was no point to it. There was no point to the V theme. It didn't add anything really. Even like the 5-player rule, which just adds an extra set of cards, it just doesn't add anything thematically. But the worst thing about it, and I'm not going to insult the art because the art's very good, it just doesn't really fit the type of game it is. The art's very busy. The back of the cards look like the front of the cards. So it's very hard to tell when the cards are in front of you what the backs are and what the fronts are, because the colours on the back are just as bright and busy as they are on the front. And that's very confusing when all the game is collecting. I mean, let's face it, what Biblios is just collecting sets of cards with numbers on. And these cards are incredibly busy. And it causes, I found that really, I think we all did around the table, found that really confusing. And then the banner system as well is just a bit clumsy. It just didn't need to be done. I didn't really see the reason for it. I think the only reason I can see for it is trying to make Biblios a bit more family friendly and appealing. But
sometimes these are rights things, aren't they? Like if they don't print them within a certain
very possible
time frame, they lose a certain.
Same publisher, same designer.
Yeah, I remember someone bought those rights things. They have a certain amount of time to make a thing, otherwise, the rights revert back to whoever. Sometimes that's cause for these things.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. I obviously I love Biblios. Jerry loves Biblios, but I can't make a case for its theme being incredibly appealing to anyone. But I don't know. It's just a lot. At least it's different. This feels very generic, sort of Disney-esque, almost like Alice in Wonderland kind of theme, and it's weird. But yeah. Anyway, there you go. That was my thought on it. Utter shit. Joe, what do you think? Just quickly. Obviously, sorry, I'm kind of clogging up the airways with my thoughts.
No, I mean, I agree with your main point is that I don't really see the point in it. Like Biblios does what it does, and it does it very, very well. I just like the whole retheme and stuff. It's just, it's a bit pointless, the whole endeavor. And I just can't actually get over that banners thing because in the game, one of the main parts of Biblios is obviously how you manipulate the die and obviously lower the cost or higher the cost and everything. And having these tiny, and they're very, very small banners, and the fact that you have a first and second position and you're having to move them on and off the board, that's really pointless. That is, I really and actually the only reason for it is that you have these portraits of the characters that you're playing that really have like no use for actual gameplay, in that at the end of the game, when you actually collect your banners, you have something to put the banners underneath, and they fit, and that's it. And it's such a waste that I don't know why they've done that. It's very, very silly.
I must.
Hey ho.
I must admit, and I think we agreed, it was quite nice. I've got to say, the second place scoring mechanic.
Yeah, I like that.
Definitely make it more family friendly.
Yeah, I like
can
that you can have a
see
fifth
them
player as well. That's kind of cool. Have another player in there, but I don't know. It's just they've added too much to it and unnecessary, very unnecessary.
Well, actually, Jerry made a very good point whilst we were playing. He looked at me and said, "This is what Ben must feel like when he plays normal Biblios."
Yeah, I did.
And very true. We just, all three of us, because we love Biblios, and all three of us were really bored. And we were like, why do we hate this so much? I don't know what's going on. And it's definitely, like, let's be honest, we love Biblios so much that this was never going to be a big hit, I don't think, unless they did something miraculous. But hey.
I would be curious to see what people's thoughts would be of the game if they had not played Biblios prior, because I'm sure they would enjoy that game. And
I wonder.
Biblios feels and everything.
They need to change the card backs. That was really too busy. I would have said that about any game. It's too busy. But hey, there you go. I also just quickly, I did play I played a new game to me that was introduced to me by McTav and his wife Haley last week. They'd bought a game called Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, which on first appearance you think, oh my god, what is this going to be? And it literally is, you've just got a deck of cards and you just have to say Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza in order around the table as you're flipping these cards over. But if you ever flip the card over that you're saying, everyone has to slap their hands down and grab it. And if the last one to do it takes all the cards in the center of the table, and you're just trying to get rid of your cards. And there's a couple of other cards in there that affect what you do as a result of them coming out. Phenomenal. Just reminded me that games don't have to be insanely clever to be fun. Like this is just classic party game. It's one of those 8-player games, kind of like, I'm trying to think what other games, like Cobra Paw, you know, that one where you roll the dice and try and snatch tiles from the center. It's just one of those games that would be great with kids, great with families, and great when you're sitting around with your friends drinking. Really, really good. And it comes in a tiny little box with a magnetic clasp thing. So
doesn't even matter what the game inside is it?
Exactly. I could see you were lost. You were lost until I mentioned that. I've got to draw Ben back in. Yeah, tiny box, pocket-sized box, magnetic clasp, lovely cards, fun. There you go. Right. Okay. With that done, I guess we should move on. So we're going to do our 3 games each that we are missing from our shelves that we've wanted for a while, or perhaps we have only just discovered and we think, oh wow, that looks great. I'd love to have that on my shelf. Just games we're looking forward to, basically.
Shout out to my daughter. She's the one that came up with
this absolutely idea.
I'm not sure how. It's just a moment of inspiration. No, she had a lot of ideas. Most of them. I don't know if I'm going to make that work, but yeah, this is one of them.
Her childhood has been inundated with board games, I assume, Ben. So it seems quite natural that she would come up with something as awesome as this.
Yeah, she's become. Yeah, and now she's just being mined for ideas for the podcast. Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you. Thanks very much for this. So, without further ado, let's move on to this segment, which I call Lack of the Shelf. Okay, Jerry, let's start with you.
Okay.
I thought I have a moment to be able to take a mouthful of tea.
No, sorry, just you carry on. I've been drinking tea since we started. I'm supposed to be host.
My first pick of game that I would like to get to my shelf isn't, in fact, a game, but an expansion. It's the Prophecy of Kings expansion for Twilight Imperium.
Oh.
So if you don't know what this is all about, only very recently, maybe a couple of years back now, they released this thing called Prophecy of Kings, which is an expansion to 4th edition Twilight Imperium. And it provides a load of new content for the base game. So this includes things such as new factions, which are playable, a larger galaxy, so there's new galaxy tiles, 40 new systems I think it comes with, as well as hyperlanes. Not too sure what they are, but nevertheless. It adds new planets, new obstacles to the maps. There's new color components for the races, even though I've heard that's a bit of an issue because there aren't enough colors for the amount of races that are playable now, if you were to include the expansion. Nevertheless, they are added.
Like pink I'm seeing on this.
I think so. I'm not entirely sure what all the new colors are, but nevertheless, there's a load of more new plastic in there.
How many players would this go up to?
So the big thing is that this is for 8 players.
Oof.
I would obviously love to play at that player count. However, it's something, if I were to get, it would probably still be like 4 or 5 player count at most, but nevertheless we could use some of those components in our games. But yeah, you do have the option of going up to 8 players with this thing, which is obviously phenomenal. So that's kind of like what you would expect with the extra races and extra components and everything. What I really love is that they also give you, and this really expands on the Twilight Imperium lore, they give you new leader cards and more characters to play that support your factions. And these are with the factions in the base game as well. So they provide powers for your factions that are unlockable during the game. It adds the asymmetry of the game, because the races, if you play Twilight Imperium before, they already have their kind of asymmetrical powers and asymmetrical technologies. The characters now that are playable with the expansion expand on that, so they become much more powerful in these respects. Love that idea. And it builds, like I said, because I'm a big fan of the lore and big fan of the universe, it builds on that a little bit more, and you get to know some of the faces in the world of Twilight Imperium, I guess. The other thing it adds, which I would be very excited to play, are the mechs. So generally in Twilight Imperium, when you obviously attack a system, you have to then land your infantry on there to claim ownership of the system. And in the base game, all you have to fight with is the infantry. So you gain these mechs now. They can stomp onto the battlefield, and they have new special abilities, again, for every faction. So a bit of asymmetry more so there. And they've also gone back to, I think this was something from Twilight Imperium 3rd edition. I'm not sure. Well, by all means, get in contact with the show to correct me if I'm wrong. But I think there was something in TI3 where you could go and explore unknown systems. So they've brought that back with this exploration deck. So you can go venturing to the different ends of the universe and discover these new planets and make them unlockable for you to obviously conquer in the game. Obviously, on top of that, you get more action cards, more agenda cards. The objectives are different as well. So obviously, anyone who's played TI4, they would know that you have your set of objectives. The expansion adds a lot more to that. There are more promissory notes. There are legendary planets. Yeah, there's a whole load of stuff in this box. Suffice to say, it's definitely something that I would love to have. I can't ever imagine playing this game at 8 player, the full player count. Nevertheless, I think it will provide obviously that much more an immersive experience to kind of my TI4 group anyways. It's kind of, at this stage, the reason why I haven't got it is the price tag more than anything. I'm still in a funny place with this, because even though there's a lot in the box, the price tag comes out about, I think, £70 or £80. And I still feel like, man, that's a lot for an expansion. Even though it adds so much more to the game, I still feel like I can't justify it. I'm still not ready to make that leap, because I think TI4 is the most expensive game I've ever bought. And I didn't even buy it, actually. It was actually a gift. I can't imagine spending that much money on a board game myself. And to just get an expansion, I don't know, it feels still too much. And also, I'm a relatively new player to Twilight Imperium. At this stage, perhaps it doesn't feel as justified. And I know we're kind of getting into obviously, Dave, you're one of the players. We're kind of getting into a monthly game of Twilight Imperium as of recent kind of weeks. So if we were to keep that going, it's definitely something that I would love to have on my shelf. But yeah, that's my first pick. Expansion, Prophecy of Kings.
I think you're right, actually. Just quickly, it's we're still we've got a lot to discover with the base game. Although we want to get to I know I'm really desperate to get like mechs and stuff and explore planets and have all those stories going on. I know full well that we don't need it. We've got plenty going on that could last us for months and months of like weekly games if we got to that. So yeah.
And I think, like, as a base game goes, like TI4 is a pretty good base game as it is, and you can replay that indefinitely. And like I say, because we haven't even played all the races yet, because obviously we've chosen our favorites.
Yeah, there's so much.
And we don't really use promissory notes at this stage because we're still playing with some relatively new players. So there's still a lot more of the base game that I'd need to explore before I could warrant moving on to Prophecy of Kings. But yes, it's definitely something in the future. I want it on my shelf.
Nice.
It's abrupt stop. Yes, I just want to bring up. Okay.
Yeah. Hey. Good. Ben, let's do yours.
Okay. So before getting into it,
I
have a system for my wish list.
Yeah.
That I said I was going to explain. So, on Board Game Geek, you can list a game on your wish list as the third rank is like to have, second rank is love to have, and top rank is must have.
Okay.
So I was just random when I first started playing board games. Just randomly pick, stick that on the wish list. Oh yeah, fancy whatever. And it's not making more sense. I'm seeing games at the top which I haven't really seen very much of. I'm seeing games some of that's made a system. So as soon as I see a positive review of a game, it goes, and I like the look of it. It goes on like to have. If I see another positive review, I go find it. I bump that up to love to have. And if I find another one, bump it up to must have. And then if I see a negative one, or if someone says this game is just like, for example, a game I don't like, gone, off it comes. So that's my wish list is a very long, extensive, I'd like to say carefully curated list.
Okay.
With lots of games, lots of depth on it, lots of history attached to it. I'm quite delicate on my wish list. So number 3. What did I say? Number 3 or number 1?
Pandemic.
So this one is an Instabuy. If I ever see this at a reasonable price,
The King and Me. Yep.
It will be number 3 in the Skull King series. It's called Vampire Queen. Because there's Skull King and there's Voodoo Prince, and then there's this Vampire Queen. And as far as I can figure out, Vampire Queen, it's never appeared in the UK.
Sure.
If I want to buy it from Europe, it's like 20, 25 people. Oh, okay. I like the game, so I'm not paying that much for that game. But if I ever found it, it would be in. Done. I can never find it.
Oh, that's a good cover.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that one. I like the original.
The Korean.
But yeah, it'll be instant. And I know it's in Germany. I know at one point within the next 12 months we'll probably go to Germany. I'm very much looking forward to try to find that one.
Nice.
I like how it looks like the other 2 in the series as well.
It does. That's right.
Oh, the art's
it's number
good,
3.
Is it like the same kind of gameplay as Skull
I'll be honest with you, Jerry. I don't really know. I just know it's number 3, and I just want that. I want to round it out because I really like the other 2.
Yeah.
So I would really like to get this one to go. But it's never come out in the UK as far as I can work out.
Huh. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, looks nice. I wonder what it says. I'm just having a look because I don't really know. I've only played Skull King.
So this is on my must-have one because it's number 3, but also I went through a phase of really getting into trick-taking games, and I bought a lot of trick-taking games, and a lot of them were really bad. I really like a few, but this one kept on coming up and up, but I could never find it. Genuinely, it's one of those Grail games.
Right.
Really hard to find.
Yeah. No.
Going back to your list, Ben, let me ask so when you're creating this list of games that you want, what's like the first step? Because obviously you talk about like looking at reviews and if they pop up and then they obviously change their position or whatever. But is it because you're looking for that, like you say, trick-taking games, you will then look up all the trick-taking games out, then just whatever tickles your fancy kind of thing? How does that, what's the initial step?
If I'll watch a video, or I'll read a review on there's a few websites that I really like. If they talk about it, then I'll go find it or stick it on there. Because if I ever see that again, and I go to Board Game Geek and I go to do that, and I think, oh, I've already done it. So somewhere in the past, I've seen a positive review. So this is the second positive review, or this is the third positive review from a place I trust. That's gonna be one I really like.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's not just random, carefully planned.
Yeah. Well, hey, in that case, my list this week is based on 2 games I mentioned that I've got. Well, I'll go into that later, but this is a game that I would love to play since this is kind of an expansion for the game that was announced that made me very, very interested in it. And it made me look into the system more, and I'd heard nothing but good things about this game. And it's a game I'd love to play. I fear buying it because I don't know if it would be appreciated by the people I play with. so much, because this is very much a conflict game, and we're not really conflicty players, and I include myself in that. It depends on the game itself, but generally I'm not conflicty player. But this game appeals to me because I believe that it's kind of that, it's conflicty, but in a fun
the
way.
game.
Hey, it's a far less long intro than yours. This game is unmatched. And I've pulled up the Jurassic Park version because that's the one that really sort of got my interest. And this is a game where you are playing a side.
It's 2-player, isn't it?
Well, this expansion is, but the game itself can be up to 4, I believe. Because when you can buy them in different, like I say, this is mentioned, you can buy them in sets. So you could buy just the Jurassic Park set, or you could buy just the whatever other sets there are. I don't know what other sets there are. There's loads. Or you could buy the Unmatched base game, which has 4, like it comes in legend packs. And basically the idea of the game is you are playing one side. So with the Jurassic Park, you're either playing InGen or you're playing the dinosaurs, or the raptors in this case. And you're basically moving around a board, which I've got here. Yeah, you move around a board and you've got cards. And it reminded me, seeing this version, of Raptor, which I love. I absolutely adore Raptor. But it's very much, yeah, you're playing the dinosaurs versus InGen, and you're just trying to defeat each other. You've got it's got some nice card play where you've got attack values and defense, and you're just playing different powers and stuff. But the great thing about the series is the Unmatched series, that is you can mix and match them all. So if you have the Jurassic Park set and you have the Legends set, I know there's one coming out with Monkey King, which really interested me as well. You could have, for example, InGen versus the Monkey King versus the Velociraptors versus vampires or something like that. And you can just mix and match them, and the game plays the same. You just get different settings. You get different boards where you play and so on. And it's just a really good... well, from what I've heard, I've watched videos on how to play it. I haven't played it, obviously, but from what I understand, it's just a very streamlined, very nice battle system that isn't too serious. I think that's why I'm still holding out hope for this one, because I don't think it's a conflicty game that's going to be too, strenuous to play or cause too many conflicts, if you get what I mean. But yeah,
what's the actual like mechanics? Like, is it like you have a hand of cards and lay a card kind of thing?
Yeah, let's see if I can. Yeah, so
I think it's like a card based. It's like if you think of Street Fighter 2 as a card game.
Okay.
I mean,
exactly like that.
I was more of a Tekken guy, but
that was a very weird. If you think
Tekken as a card game, sorry.
Okay.
Very, very strange. If you think of a board game as a card game, you've got, see these cards, for example. So I believe you've got your attack value.
Wait, what? And Street Fighter 2, the video game.
Yeah.
Okay, you said board game as a card game.
No, I was saying your example was as ridiculous as me saying think of any other game as a card game. Like, think of Tetris as a card game, and you've got
Unmatched. That'd be a great comparison. Tetris as a card game. That's fun.
Right. Anyway, so look at these cards. You've basically got attack values. They've got movement. I think their movement is in the little black circle, and then they've got special actions they do, and that's basically how the game works. And you're just moving around the board. So the board is
there's a board and you move. It's like a skirmish game. I thought this was like a straight card battle.
Oh no. Sorry. Okay, I see what you're saying now. No, it's a board game mixed with its card actions. All the actions and stuff are on the cards, but the miniatures move around the board.
Okay.
And so when you buy different sets, you'll get different boards. So you'll get you'll maybe get a. I'm trying to think of what other versions there are. Oh, there's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer, for example, or Hell's Kitchen and Little Red Riding Hood versus Beowulf. You just get all these different sets that different board settings, and you can fight. So you've got, I think in one you've got like Bruce Lee as well.
I know this is a really great reputation, but no, it's not. I don't think I'd ever.
I wonder about this.
I don't think I could ever get this table.
Is this very similar to? Am I right in saying this is something that what they're called, the Funko universe, when they introduced those board games, and because they had all the different licenses, they were able to create this board game, and you could mix and match and do all these what if scenarios. Is this the same thing?
It's a similar thing. I was quite interested in those Funko games. They look really fun to me, actually. Those Funko games have got I think the idea is that Unmatched is a bit heavier,
Right.
not really heavy, but just a bit more gamey for gamers. Whereas I think the Funko games they're very good for gamers, but they're also meant to be played with new gamers that aren't familiar with board games.
Right. I'm always put on the back foot when I'm trying to think of good examples out there, but when there's like a film license or TV license to a board game, and they produce the board game, and it always makes you a bit apprehensive. What's some, like when I played Jaws, it wasn't too recent, but when they released Jaws, and I was like, oh man, this is actually a little bit disappointing. As good as it looks on the table and everything, it's a bit of a disappointing game. I'm just trying to think of where they've done that well and implemented a license in the board game.
Apparently the Funko board games and Unmatched are where they started doing that seriously.
Check that out.
Yeah, I'm interested. Anyway,
so this thing's not. Is this on Kickstarter? Did you say?
No. This is out. This is
out right. Sorry.
Yeah, the Jurassic Park one's been on for a while. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
No, it's been out for a couple of years, I believe. Yep. Well, sorry, the Unmatched itself. There you go.
What he's saying, Gerald, is he wants you to play this game with him.
I'm kind of getting vibes that someone's asking something for Christmas here. I know what to get you, buddy.
Funny you say that, Ben. I did mention this. This was probably before Christmas, I think, or maybe before my birthday. And I'm sure I did say, "Oh, this game looks good, guys," and it just got completely ignored.
Everyone just shut you down. Like, shit, Dave. You know what we're talking about.
So yeah. So there you go. Unmatched Jurassic Park.
Cool. Nice.
Okay, Ben, let's go with you.
Oh man,
you're number 2, or well, not number. Sorry, we're not officially numbering these, are we? But you're definitely want, or whatever your list is.
I think possibly because I've watched since getting to board games, there are certain shows I've watched a lot of. So the Dice Tower is always the first one you go and see. Eric Summerer, key part of the Dice Tower, and the game that he always bangs on about is Merchants of Venus. So I am very intrigued by this game. It's almost one of the first games on my wish list because it just kept on getting fantastic reviews. I've never actually really heard anyone say a bad thing about it. I think it's the ultimate pick up and deliver game, which I don't really play that much. I can't think of many at all. So I quite like to think. And if I ever see it again, it's almost if I can find it at a decent price. I checked online today. I hovers around like the £250-300 mark now.
That's the thing. That's the bad thing about this game, is that you cannot get it. There's
no. So if I ever
500 copies on the planet, it's ridiculous.
Look at that cover as well. That's great.
Yeah.
If I could ever find it for a reasonable price, this would be another insta buy. So I would genuinely love to have this one.
Yeah. I would love to have this as well.
Good.
I've even flirted with buying the original, because this is the second edition, I believe, and the original.
That did just come up.
Obviously, not quite as good looking. I do not know what the difference is really, but even the original comes in at quite a hefty price tag.
I like the cover of this as well. It looks like a 1970s, like sci-fi book cover.
So I'm always on the lookout for this one. I really enjoyed it. I'd really like to have this one in the collection somewhere.
I've heard it's very good. What is the game that? There's definitely a game that is often referenced as being directly inspired by this. And I can't think what it is.
I think most pick 'em and delivers would class this as the.
Is that what it is?
Granddaddy.
Pick 'em and deliver. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think all pick 'em and deliver games are compared to this game.
Yeah, I've heard about this a lot. It always gets mentioned. It's one of those games that's been there for such a long time. It gets mentioned whenever another game comes up. It's like, oh yeah, that's like, and
yeah. Well, I've only ever heard good things about it. That's why it climbed to the top of my wish list almost instantly, and it's never come off because I've never really had anyone say a bad thing. So yeah,
no,
yeah, it's my number 2.
How old is that game? I couldn't see it on the
1988.
The original was 80s.
Crazy.
The next edition must have come out 2008, 2009, I think.
Right. Love it.
Yeah.
Hey, good choice.
Yeah, good luck finding that one, Ben. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. Try it.
Yeah, if anyone out there has a copy of Merchants of Venus they don't want, send it.
£15, £20. I'll push the bottom of that one, £20.
Plus shipping. So you're looking at about £120. Okay, Jerry, what's yours?
Did you not want to go next, Dave? mix it up? Or are you happy to go for me to go?
No, you go, because I'm not
Okay.
ready with it. Because
Oh,
as
sorry.
we do these, I've got to type in and then screen share. And I know everyone watching probably thinks, God, they must have people behind the scenes really helping out, but no, we don't. It's actually just us three doing this. So yeah, no, please, Jerry, please go, please.
Yeah, this is a good moment to remind people of our coffee, isn't it? Get some funds our way, maybe.
If you would like this to be successful and interesting to watch, please donate to our coffee. Back to the Show podcast. Thank
you. Right, my second pick is off the. I don't know. I'm going to go with that sentence, but nevertheless, I'm a fan of Memoir 44. Big fan. Top 3 game. Always been since I played it. Got a copy behind me, even though it's still in the shrink wrap. That's because I want to play some Overlord maps with Dave. That's the reason that's there on the shelf. Thank you very much for my copy of Memoir 44, Dave. I appreciate it. But based on that, I became much more interested in the Command and Colors system. So people that aren't aware, Memoir 44 is based on this system called Command and Colors. So this series of games, then, it's a very simplified wargaming system designed by Richard Borg, and they all the games in these series have the common elements in that you have a deck of command cards, which could also be classified as like section cards, tactic cards. You always play these games on a board of hexes. It's usually 13 by 9, and the board's divided into 3 sections, 3 flanks. So you have your center flank and your right and your left flank, and you play these command cards. It will tell you which flank you can move troops in, or ships, or whatever game you're playing of Commands and Colors, and it will tell you like how far they can move and that sort of stuff.
Have you named
also
the game
get action cards, sorry?
Have you named the game yet?
No, I haven't actually.
No, that's fine. It's just because I'm sitting here ready to type it in, and I'm listening to you, and I'm trying to guess what it is, and I think I've typed it in. And I think I've got it, but I'm not sure.
Can you guess which one it would be? Because there's quite a few Commands and Colors games.
Is it similar to Memoir?
In the fact that it's Commands and Colors.
Yeah, but I wonder if you're going for the serious like Command and Colors games, or whether you're going for Battle Lore.
It's not Battle Lore.
Oh damn, that's what I typed in.
It's Ancients.
Oh.
Check out Ancients. So Command and Colors Ancients. And like I said, because this system is universal to all these games, so you've got like Ancients, you've got Medieval, you've got probably the most successful one. I know this is usually on the top of a lot of people's list of Commands and Colors, is the Napoleonics. But purely based on theme, I'm not a big fan of Napoleonic warfare. It's never really interested me that much, that era of history. But it's mostly due to the theme, really. I don't have any kind of games in my personal collection that are set in this era. A lot of my games are very dry, medieval-based Euros. I love the idea of playing those battles in ancient Rome and those battles at like Troy and those ancient Grecian those wars and everything. I like the idea of having like Hannibal's elephants and like Carthage and all that sort of stuff. But nevertheless, the fact that it is Command and Colors, I know it's going to be an instant win in that respect. So yeah, purely based on the theme, I would love to have a copy of Command and Colors Ancients, of which I've heard as well. On top of it, there's something ridiculous like 6 expansions. In fact, I think all the Command and Colors games have a ridiculous amount of expansions. So it's got a lot of like extra playability as well as the replayability on top. But yeah, that's kind of another one that I would like to get on my shelf. It's just that it's very hard to come across a copy without paying over the head. So even though a lot of shops have it, to purchase, it's always like a restock thing. Oh, we don't have the stock and everything. It's always Napoleonics is the one that you can get, but Ancients is the one that I'm really seeking. I'd love to get a copy of this one, have on the shelf. I love the fact as well, because obviously I do have Memoir already, and like Red Alert, which is another one of the Command and Colors games, they're miniatures games. So obviously the units in those games are represented by infantry models or spaceship models and everything. This is one of those very traditional classic block war games where you've got to put all the stickers on the blocks. I'd love to have that. I love that idea. Like Sekigahara, those
I've experienced
fields.
That. Takes a couple of hours. But all the way through, you're excited. It's just
But that look, when it's on the table, that really, it looks like a war room, doesn't it? When you're moving blocks around a table in a war room.
You feel like you need the sticks to push.
I really want that feel of it, and it's just so dry. I've also heard Ancients it's good in the respect that obviously with a lot of these ancient battles, they were fought over not very complicated terrain. There was very open terrain, so it's got a lot quicker setup as opposed to something like Memoir 44, which each scenario has got quite a complicated terrain setup. So I like that idea as well. It's very quick.
Yeah, it looks very That picture there is just a very open board.
Oh, it's dry as well. It's just like
I would play
love it.
that. If I saw that sit on the table, I'd be
I
over
just
there.
want to play it
watching what's
so
happening.
badly.
Yeah.
And you know it's going to be good because of how good, obviously, like Memoir is.
It's a great system. Well, Memoir's built on many other games, isn't it?
Yes.
As I understand it. So
Yeah.
Memoir's just another sort of another cog in the machine. So I assume all of
Yes.
these games have something similar going for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the gameplay is slightly different just because of the event cards and obviously of the theme in which is pasted on this Command Colors system. They're going to have slightly different variations in the mechanics and things, but otherwise they are all pretty much the same game mechanically. It's just what theme you want to go for, and for me, it's all about the Ancients. So yeah, if anyone has a copy of Commands and Colors Ancients, £20, yeah. Let me know.
Nice one.
There's a whole world of war games that I would just love to get into.
Yes,
but I just don't have the group to do that. It's any at all, really.
I don't know. But I sorry, that sounded really like I was being insulting. I actually, in all seriousness, I think like me and Jerry have been quite lucky because we can play Memoir and we've played the other one, Conquest, together. But again, even though we both love playing those, we play board games and generally there's 3 or 4 of us.
Yeah.
And so it's quite difficult to get them to the table. They do require a lot of time and they require quite an investment in that during that time as well. So you really need to be in the mood to play them. And yeah, even when you do have people willing to play them, it can be hard to get them to the table sometimes. They're great games.
My daughter's 7, so.
Well, she's already come up with the idea for this. I mean, hey, she's probably ready. I'd say. Maybe.
Who knows? That's her next 3 years birthday presents. So,
there you go.
This game's called Command and Colors Ancients. Happy
What do you mean you don't like it? It cost me £300. Okay. Mine then. My next game is a game I backed on Kickstarter, and this is what I refer to this game as. So
we should highlight then. This is coming. This is not.
This is on its way to me.
This is
eventually.
on its way.
Okay.
This is, as you may or may not know, I am quite a fan of small box card games, and this is a game I'd refer to as.
Weird. You've never mentioned that before.
No, I don't mention it. I don't mention it often, but when I am, for those that don't know, I'd refer to this game as an anti-Ben game. Like Ben would hate this, I think, and I think I want to see Ben's face when I bring this up. But this is a small box card game from Japan that I saw ages ago, and I really liked the art. I really liked the black and white presentation of it. And then they released it in English on Kickstarter and said, if you want an English copy, back this Kickstarter. So I just went straight on there and was like, yeah. And this is a little game. Let me share this because right, it's called A Kindly World, and it's a small box Japanese game based on a manga from Japan. And I have a copy of a manga from this artist that I bought years ago when I was living abroad, and it's not in English, so I've never been able to read it, but I always like the artwork because the artwork's incredibly simple. And
who knows what you got there? It could be anything.
Well, yeah, it could be. I know the manga's about Vietnam, and it's just an incredibly cool looking book, but I bought it really because I was really into the artwork. Anyway, this is A Kindly World, and it is simply a push your luck card game where you are trying to build up your village by drawing cards, and if you draw the same card as you already have, your turn's instantly over. And all you're trying to do is fill your village with, I believe it's 5 different buildings, but there are other cards in the game as you draw them that have effects that will affect the game itself or affect your turn. And that's all it is. It's just a deck of cards. You're just turning them over. You're trying to get as many as you can before you go bust. And you're just trying to win the game by collecting a certain amount of cards and applying their effects as you go through. It was quite cheap. It's quite a cheap little card game. Comes in a nice box, as you can see here. And yeah, I just really like the artwork. It just really appealed to me. It's it's not often you see sort of these small box Japanese games available to an English market like this. And I just sort of jumped at the chance when I saw it available. And yeah, that's it. I've got that coming eventually. I'm not sure when it's coming. I can't remember, but next year, next February apparently. Yeah, that's me.
Huh.
Well, have fun with that, Gerald. I guess you're
Yeah, you got to play it.
you'll be playing that next year.
I'm really interested in how, because I've never used Kickstarter. I've watched you use it a lot, but how do you find out about this stuff? Is it just because of like
Gerald,
board gaming websites or something?
There are whole YouTube channels devoted to this stuff now. It's
True.
become
just like
massive.
up and coming
It's
games
huge.
and things.
Well,
They have
actually,
they'll have hours of like, just look at this game. And actually, also, sorry, I didn't realize when board game channels now say the words preview, that's actually a paid advert. And I didn't realize. And so it said, well, obviously everyone knows when someone says this is a preview. I said, oh no, I didn't actually know that. Oh, yes, I'm way behind
a Kickstarter
But,
preview, yeah.
Yeah, when say the Dice Tower or whoever says, "Oh, here's a preview of this game," that's a paid for advert for this game that's on Kickstarter.
Oh, okay. It's just like this is a whole new world to me.
Okay,
The
so
idea of,
I can
new
give you
stuff.
I can give you a literal step-by-step of how I heard about this.
Go
I
on.
saw this on Twitter of all places from there's a I'm not sure if she's English or American, or she may be Japanese, but I get the impression she's a foreigner living
English,
abroad
American,
in
or
Japan.
Japanese.
Wait, I haven't finished yet.
Okay.
And she lives in Japan.
Right.
And she writes about board games in Japan. So she goes to like Tokyo Game Fair and stuff, which happens every year. And this is one of the many games she had. And it caught my eye because of the black and white art, and the box art was really nice. And so I looked at it and realized, I looked it up and it was only available in Japanese. And then about 2 months or so later, I went on Board Game Geek and it was in the news of that week that it was being released in English. And then it linked to the Kickstarter, and that's how I found it. It was just entirely random, really, that I found it on the Board Game News, because I don't check Board Game Geek for news regularly, but it is a really good source of board game news if you want to.
I was going to say, do you guys use any website in particular, or
YouTube,
like board game?
for
So
board game
you
news,
actually
yeah.
just kind of check it out now and then. What's upcoming? Like what's the
for board
new
game news, for sure.
freshness and stuff.
I think
Okay.
if you want to check
You
weekly,
can't escape it, can you? It's everywhere.
no, you absolutely. Once you get into that world, you just find you get used to the channels that you like, or the avenues of news that you like. And Board Game Geek, for anyone listening, it's a good one if you want weekly news. There's a good weekly rundown, but I don't go seeking it out generally. It's just
I am fascinated by it because there is a current, not even theory. There's a current discussion about Kickstarter because there are quite a few companies. I think I can't remember. There was a famous game. It had a famous name, and I can't remember. It was a computer game that made into a board game. And I think more and more companies are creating the models, creating the artwork, putting it on Kickstarter because they know that that's the stuff that sells. And if they fund based on the art and the models, then they'll try and design the game.
Yep.
And there's a growing number of campaigns that are doing that. I can't even remember. It wasn't Master of Orion. It was a famous old computer game, but they said there's no rules to this. Mm-hmm. You are looking at the models and you're looking at the artwork, and if you like those, then they'll try and design a game around that. And that's really dodgy.
I've never done that. We've talked about this before, but generally the Kickstarters I've backed I think all the Kickstarters I've been backed have been established publishers already.
Right.
I think the general rule is if they produce a rule book for you to look at.
Yes, that is exactly it. Yeah, I generally go to find a video. Yeah.
You have no
videos
idea.
or PDFs of all books are the way to go. But hey, obviously everyone starts somewhere, so I would go for new games. Kickstarter for me is probably a twice a year thing. I'll find something that really appeals, and it's the only thing I can get. The only way I can get it is from Kickstarter. Then I'll back it.
Okay.
So over the last 7 years,
that leads nicely onto the next one.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
Right, let's go. Okay, I'm gonna go first this time.
Okay.
This is not a Kickstarter.
Oh.
This is a. I think I have had my 2 Kickstarters of this year, but the other Kickstarter's not on this list because I had to choose this game, and this is a game that I believe Jerry will appreciate in a big way.
For the King of Me.
No, not that one.
Oh.
That one. This is a game. This is a game from one of my favorite designers and publishers now after playing the previous game,
Oh,
which is called Near and Far. This is the sequel, Now or Never, from Ryan Lockett and Red Raven Games. And if you've not played a Ryan Lockett game before, basically Ryan Lockett is the designer, the artist, the writer, and the publisher of his games, along with other people that work for him, of course. But he does do the majority of the work on it. And Near and Far was a story-driven game where you were playing across a map, which was in the form of a book. So it was like a storybook, and you'd each time you played, you'd flip over the board, flip over the story book into a new map, and then you'd be playing in the book itself and telling stories. And me, Jerry, and his wife played this extensively. We played the 11 game campaign, the 11 map campaign, and then we went on to play the character mode, and it was quite possibly one of the best gaming experiences I think I've had. It's just absolutely phenomenal. The fact that you're passing this storybook round and you're reading and you're doing voices, and people have to make choices based on what the story is, and those choices then take you to the next part of your story, which may or may not be good, or depend on what you're trying to do. And anyway, Now or Never is a sequel. I'm not sure how extensively it follows on from Near and Far. It will be set in the same world of Arzium, which is where Ryan Lockett sets his games, but this one is more of a building up your village and your your tribe and so on, whereas Near and Far was much more story driven. You're one adventurer going around. I believe this is more you're trying to build up your clan, your village, and your reputation, and by doing so, you're exploring stories and having new adventures. But yeah, I've just heard it's very good. I watched a couple of videos on it, and apparently it is phenomenal.
Nice.
And I'm
This
very,
isn't
very
hard to
excited.
find. You've pre-ordered.
It's not even
this.
out yet. It's not even out yet.
Oh, okay.
This is
I always
pre-order.
find this: if you're inventing a land,
Yep,
and you can name it anything, Arzium is the best you can come with. So strange.
Arzium.
Crafting Arzium.
Oh yeah, and if you're interested in Ryan Lockett's games, you can actually look. You can buy a Blu-ray all about Ryan and his wife and how they created his games.
Huh.
There you go.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, I mean, your cynicism aside, I mean, he is one of the only people in board gaming that's doing it all. Usually there's a great many people involved in making board games, and I think what makes him unique is he's sort of, it's like a one-man show almost, and that's.
It's no cynicism here. I'm impressed by it. I think he's. I don't know. Oh, I have played a few of his games. I went through his list. I have played a few really nice games. Just Arzium. What are you thinking?
Well, Arzium aside, yeah, I'm very, very excited for this one. And look, Jerry's trying to be all cool in front of the camera, but I know he's squealing like a little schoolgirl right now. And I know this.
Sure, it'd be very fun.
We were talking about it last night, and we were all like,
"Yeah, that's going to be amazing." I'm very excited about that one.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine. You guys?
Who's going next, David? You're
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Who went second last time? Jerry, you can go second this time.
Okay, my last game that I really, really want is Container. I can't get Container anywhere.
But you say
you guys have been looking at eBay for me. I don't want the Jumbo Edition. I want Container.
Oh, that's the wrong one?
Well,
sorry.
It is the wrong edition, but not that it will take anything away, I'm sure, from the gameplay, because it's exactly the same gameplay, except the ships and the actual containers are massive. But nevertheless, if you've never heard of Container, 2007 game, 3 to 5 players. It's an economic game where your goal is to be obviously the player at the end of the most money. You have to manage shipping containers. So you're pricing your own containers. You're purchasing and pricing containers produced by other players for resale. You're purchasing containers that only show. It's so dry, and it is my kind of dry. I just love the concept of it. And the really cool thing is you ship you can see it on the map there. You ship your containers when you push your ships across the table. Delicious. Love that.
How big are those ships? I'm
Sorry?
trying to find a picture. How big these ships are. I need a
I can't tell if that's the Jumbo Edition or the original, but the Jumbo Edition are huge resin ships and everything. I don't know, size of your hand or whatever.
Oh, actually, see those two bowls in the background? They look like bowls. They're actually hot tubs.
Yeah.
So it gives you an idea of how big the ships. Trying to find a good
Nevertheless,
pitch.
when you're pushing your ships to the center, you go to this island in the middle where there's an auction, and so you're making secret bids to pay for these containers, and you can obviously bid for your own containers. I love it. I love the idea of this game. It's just, I love economic games, and it's as dry as they come. I mean, a shipping game of containers, delicious. You just can't get it. I just can't find the original edition. They did a 10th anniversary jumbo edition, which is redonkulous pounds. I don't.
When are we putting it? We're putting
pay
this
that
out on
much
Tuesday,
money.
aren't we? When does that eBay thing end?
Monday, I think.
Monday.
It
Oh,
was
good. Okay.
going.
Yeah. So everyone, there was one on eBay.
Jumbo
that
edition.
Hopefully, Jerry has won. Even though he spits on it, if he can get it for like £20, that'd be great.
It's already.
It's
already really expensive.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
No.
And I know it's just going to ramp up because even like the jumbo edition, it's not well stocked. It's quite hard to get
Right.
hold of, and you're paying over the ends for it. But I'm really interested in the first edition container with that terrible art on the cover. I really want that game, but alas, it eludes me constantly.
Why
So,
won't
yeah.
why do they not reprint games like this? And why only reprint it as a ridiculously expensive
I don't
jumbo?
know, I found it a really odd choice doing that as a jumbo edition. It's not like it, as fun as it is, and I do like the idea of that. You know, you physically push your ship. It's cool, it's quirky and stuff, but it's not really necessary. I mean,
No,
it's not a
not even
massive part of the
a little
gameplay. So to like chuck an extra 60 quid on whatever the price tag, just so you can have larger resin ships, I find that a really odd choice because no one's going to really buy that. I find that bizarre. I just want the original one. Just come on, reprint it, whoever you are. I don't know, even know who publishes this game. Don't know.
It's almost
Anyways.
like people in this industry don't know what they're doing.
Valley Games. Come on, Valley Games. I know you're listening. Reprint, please. I need more container in my life.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I'd like to
Dave,
play that.
that's
It does
it.
look fun.
Yeah. I'm sure, like, I've been looking for this thing for so long. I'm sure it's not even that fun. I just really want it. It's
Well, if
Sort of just gonna be
instead of
like,
playing this, you can play my copy of A Kindly World when it comes, and I'm sure that will
oh, cool.
satisfy your.
What's the other
desire.
one? Unmatched. I'll play that instead.
Hey, Unmatched looks amazing. At least you can get Unmatched. At least they haven't released imagine they released
It's true.
Unmatched Jumbo Edition where the Raptors are like actual size. Actually, that sounds awesome. Why would I complain
That's
about that?
amazing.
Hey, good one. Container.
Okay, that's
Nice.
it. Container.
Ben, say your name of your game so I can type it in quickly and it will seem like somebody behind the scenes is doing it.
Cool.
Okay, the game I'm looking for probably more than any other game is a game called Core Space.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this the other week.
Yeah. Now, we did talk about this the other week, and you're like, "Oh yeah, Ben, tell me more about it." Like, oh, I know what's coming, Dave. So, Core Space. When I first saw it, just looked like a just average sci-fi game. You know, it has beautiful terrain. It's a 3D board, walls and cargo containers and doors set in some sort of derelict spaceship. I thought, okay, that looks cool, but one of those things that I probably, I wouldn't ever be terribly interested in.
Oh, it looks wonderful.
Saw the rules. I saw some of the miniatures. Yeah, they're pretty cool. And then I had a sort of little breakdown of what the game was. It's gangs going against each other in some derelict. Sorry, before I go through that, I want to apologize. If you hear in the background this cacophony of noise, it's because my dog is refusing to nap or go to sleep. So
I think I've had a request actually to show your puppy as much as possible on this stream.
Yeah, no, it's not happening. She's in the bad books right now.
Oh, okay.
Naughty doggo.
Yeah. So I looked at it. I thought that it looks really cool, really nice. I had a look at the rules. Yeah, space gangs, standard, And then I saw one little bit that made me go, and it has NPCs.
Yes.
That are controlled, obviously not by the players that go around and present different challenges for the gang. So you have civilians, you have guards, you have all this.
Oh, look at it
right there, and that brought floods of nostalgia.
Careful now. Oh,
because the games I really loved back in my Warhammer days was Rogue Trader, the original Warhammer 40,000, where things like objectives or different types of missions, or even things like civilians and guards and other places, that was a core part of that experience. and obviously, but the rule, it was so complicated. It was such a difficult game. When I saw that I could get that sort of Rogue Trader experience in a modern box,
Yeah.
that instantly shot it to the top of my. I'm very, very interested here, and I may even have to break my Kickstarter embargo for this guy, because I believe me and Jerry saw it in the UK Games Expo, and I said to him,
Mhm.
if this is around 50,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna have to get it, and it wasn't. It was what, 75, 80.
Yeah, it's quite
So
pricey.
I can't do that. I feel that Kickstarter coming up may make it a little more
there is definitely
economical.
a Kickstarter.
The guy said, "Oh, there's a new one, second edition, or a bigger sort of follow-up or sequel coming, which will also include the original."
I'm going to make it a guess.
Here
Looking
we
at this
go.
game, this is going to be about £120 plus on Kickstarter.
We'll see. I'm gonna have to have a look. Usually, I wouldn't be at all interested, but and the understand, because I understand Kickstarter is to make it more enticing. The bigger the bundle is, the sort of lower the price overall is.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
We'd have to see.
I
shall have to see.
I wasn't at all. I didn't even know this game until you mentioned it. Probably earlier this year when we started doing a podcast. I think you told me about it, and I know you say, was it Rogue Trader you played? For me, it was that similarity to what I see, a similarity to like Necromunda, where you've got a character that's leveling up and you've got a story behind them, and then seeing the game, all that 3D terrain, and like having those like robots coming out. I mean, it's just instantly conjures up so many sort of ideas, and so the imagination behind it sounds phenomenal. I really want to play it as well, please. So if you get that Kickstarter and then come over to England and play it.
Yeah. The only downside is it's 1 or 2 player.
Oh, you're kidding?
I'm trying to picture how it would work. I do not know.
It's only 1 or 2 player. Oh,
that was my. If they could make it 3 or 4, because I don't understand why you couldn't. If you could make it 2 player, you could make it 3 or 4 player.
Board Game Geek says 1 to 6 players.
Okay, that's great. Get it on the wish list. It's just moved up to number 1. There you go.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah. So this is the one I would.
I'm very much like you.
I'm probably gonna have to push the bar.
Yeah. I'm not generally interested in these kind of games anymore. I was back when I was into 40k and stuff and Necromunda, but now seeing a game like this, if they can encapsulate everything about my teenage years of playing those games into one game that can make it to a table often enough to warrant the price, I completely agree. It becomes worth it then, doesn't it? That's when you sort of think, okay, I can justify this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be. I have a real hard think about it when it comes up.
Good choice. Looks great. Looks absolutely incredible. Okay, well, that's it. Our 3 games for this week that we're looking forward to getting, or dream of getting in.
No, I don't think I'm ever getting that yet.
Yeah, I'm not getting my games either.
Well, I know 2 of mine are coming. It's just whether I can get the 3rd one, get anyone to play it with me. But there you go. We'll see. Yeah, so I guess we'll do this. We'll probably do something like this again in the future, because I think this is quite fun for us to come up with games rather than just looking at games we already have. It's always exciting as board gamers to come up with games we don't have yet and want to spend money on. But yeah, okay. So Jerry, I'll ask you: how can people get in touch with us? And knowing full well that you're just going to mess it up, I'm going to put the little thing along the bottom telling people how they can get in touch with us.
If you check out the banner at the bottom right now, it tells you all about our show. Nevertheless, obviously, if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can catch our podcast on any, any where you get podcasts, you'll find Back of the Shelf. Otherwise, I think the best place to get hold of us is on Instagram at back.of.the.shelf, because we will respond quickly. Obviously, remind you of our coffee. I don't really know how that works, but I think you go to a website about coffees and buy me a coffee or something.
Yeah, it's ko-fi.com.
Okay.
Back of the Shelf podcast.
Okay, that's the important one, because that's how we get money, right?
You can afford the lackeys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes
Um,
lackeys.
If you've watched this show and thought, what
I've
the
got a train Bronwyn up.
then yeah, please donate.
Daddy, can I do homework? No, not today.
Not today. You've got to come up with your core space character.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
But yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please come back. Please come back, because we like it when the numbers go up. And if you listen to this as a podcast, please don't forget, if you're on iTunes, leave a review. And I'd say be honest, but don't. Just leave a good review. That'd be great. 5-star. Thanks very much, everyone. And I think that's it. As soon as I can get back to the little clips that I play, yeah, that's it. It's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me. Me. No, goodbye from me. Goodbye from me.
Oh dear. Just...